I think one thing that people lose sight of is all of the injuries that the Chiefs have had and still being able to eke out these wins. Because everything else, I think, is surface level to where like, okay, close wins, good team, good coach, et cetera, et cetera. But you have to realize, like, the Chiefs lost their number one receiver early on, Rashee Rice, and he was turning into a Pro Bowler. He's a guy. You know what I mean? He's a legit guy.
And Brown, before anything got started.
They lost their number one receiver, lost their number two receiver, okay? Lost their number one running back, in Pacheco. People were beginning to love Pacheco. Being able to eke out these wins, I think, is not a matter of luck. I think it's just a matter of survival. We have a huge matchup coming up this Sunday, all right? Chiefs and Bills, okay? Mahomes and Allen. And, a lot of people are suggesting that the Chiefs are on a lucky magical ride here, that it is mostly luck. What? Let me say what I want to say first here. I know the Chiefs are my team or whatever, but I think one thing that people lose sight of is all of the injuries that the Chiefs have had and still being able to eke out these wins. Because everything else, I think, is surface level to where like, okay, close wins, good team, good coach, et cetera, et cetera. But you have to realize, like, the Chiefs lost their number one receiver early on, Rashee Rice, and he was turning into a Pro Bowler. He's a guy. You know what I mean? He's a legit guy.
And Brown, before anything got started.
They lost their number one receiver, lost their number two receiver, okay? Lost their number one running back, in Pacheco. People were beginning to love Pacheco. You know what I mean? Lost their number two corner, alrighty? And then lost their number one corner in the offseason, okay? He left for more money in Tennessee. Hopefully he's enjoying that. And and then lost their number two corner to injury. You know what I mean? And Williams, and Joshua Williams. And then, okay, and so they're losing all these key pieces. And of course, with the next man up motto, but not only that, it's just, being able to eke out these wins, I think, is not a matter of luck. I think it's just a matter of survival. You know what I mean? And being able to just from week to week doing whatever they need to do to win a game.
I've marveled at the Chiefs this year. I've been watching them intensely. I've seen pretty much every game, and yeah, it's what I love. It's a group that's committed to winning by any means necessary, and it doesn't have to look a certain way or go a certain way. They're going to find a way, and I love watching that. You like my thing, and I've said this in the past. It's like when you're a fan of somebody or a team. Like, what you want trust. You want to know that on game day, they're going to show up and they're going to compete. And you can accept a loss once in a while when they're doing that. But, like, you just want them to really compete to the end of every game. And the Chiefs are doing that. And they're doing it better than anybody in football. It's tough to watch a team that comes out and beats a highly regarded team one week and then, puts up 10 points and 4 turnovers the next week. Like, I don't understand that. What is that level of performance? What am I supporting? I don't want to invest 3.5 hours of my Sunday afternoon to watch a team suck ass. My son's a fan of the Jaguars. They're dreadful to watch. They're like the opposite of the Chiefs. They get in these games and they find ways to lose.
Find way to lose, yeah.
And it's just brutal to watch and it's disheartening. But, when you watch the Chiefs, like, they're going to just find a way or die trying. And I respect the hell out of it. You feel comfortable watching them every week that they're going to give it what they have.
100%. And even last week with the field goal, if a guy misses a 30, 40-yard field goal of the opposing team, you can regard that as luck. Blocking a kick is you going out and doing something about it.
Yeah. You
going out making a play. And that's what has been happening this season is those guys are going out and making plays. You know what I mean? That's not luck. And I thought it was fun and interesting how Mahomes was talking about that guy who blocked the You know, be like, oh yeah, we have a nickname for him, and he's like the strongest guy on the team. We call him, I think they said they call him Schwarzenegger or something, something crazy, like, you know. And that's funny because that guy is like, he's close to the last person on the, you know what I mean, as far as on the depth chart. I mean, he's just the guy that's out there on special teams.
Yeah.
But you know, Mahomes is connected to him. That, you know, the stars on the team are connected to him. You know what I mean?
But when
That's
you're
crazy.
winning, that happens.
Yeah.
Like, you feel good because, I mean, there's this thing is that a victory has 1,000 fathers and defeat is an orphan. Like, when you win a game, no matter, I mean, if it's a close game in particular, like, there's a handful of plays that kind of change that thing. And those handful of plays are probably made by a couple different guys. And then you get to the locker room and it's like, we're surrounded by heroes. This guy blocked a kick. This guy had a big play on third down. This guy caught 2 touchdowns. It feels great. Mm-hmm. But when you're losing, you know, it's about the plays that didn't get made. And people are looking at each other like, yeah, if that guy, you know, did this, we would have won. If that guy did that, you know, whatever. And it separates you. And you don't feel connected and want to give guys funny nicknames when they just fucking cost you a game.
You know what? Also, I didn't want to stay on this particular play that long, but what I found the most interesting is the special teams coach and one of the players on that unit. They interviewed after the game or the next day or whatever, and they was asking him about it. And I guess I don't know if I don't know. I just it didn't connect. Like, these are actual plays that they're running on special teams, field goal, block, kicks, return, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know, that particular formation, first of all, the key to blocking a kick is you want to find a weak link on that offensive line, if you will, when, you know, or the opposing team. And early on, you know, from extra points to field goal attempts, they noticed that this particular lineman was weak. So they have a play that they run, you know what I mean,
to exploit that, yeah.
To exploit that and run 2 or 3 guys up that gap. Because they found that weak link, you know what I mean, and they were plotting that the whole game.
Yeah,
like, they were setting that up for a big moment that whole game.
I was going to use
That's
setting
crazy.
up because I think that's what you do. Like, you know, there's a lot of kicks that, you know, you kind of assume are going to go in, a lot of extra points, a lot of things like that. And I do feel that, like, a good special teams, they do hold a little something back for when they really need it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's, you know, that's what they do. You know, I mean, you got to get to block a kick, you have to get like immediate penetration.
Yeah.
So you got to, like, again, seize a weak link, overload an area, and create something where you breach that line of protection quickly and get vertical into the kicker's space. Otherwise, you know, you don't have a chance. Yeah. I mean, there's a handful of guys that kind of done like the high man's block where you're just somehow just jumping back. But those are usually on the longer kicks where the trajectory has to be a little lower to carry the distance. But, you know, definitely. There's a lot that goes into that. I mean, that's why they have special teams coaches.
I know. Could you throw Wemby out there and block a couple?
You might. I mean, you might. I would think. I mean,
wanna
it's just
see that.
so. I mean, he's so long. I mean, he would be that. He wouldn't be, you know, breaching the line,
no,
but
it's the
like
high man
he'd
block,
be
you
that
said.
guy. Be the high man block. You know, like who's higher than that? You know? Except for Snoop, I don't know. Like, you know, it is what it is.
I would want to see a team, like, bring somebody into practice, of course, blah blah blah. But if they can make that impact, like, and pay him handsomely.
Yeah, why
That's
not?
you know.
No, that's definitely.
That would be
You know who's big on that is Rex Ryan.
Yeah.
He was big on, like, he loved, like, players that could do random stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then he would work, you know, a game plan or a personnel grouping around that. You know, so if he had a guy that just had a knack for blocking kicks, he would, you know, figure out a way to exploit that. Or, you know, he had a guy that just, you know, whatever, just was able to, like, maul tight ends and not let them get off the line of scrimmage. He would, you know, utilize that when it was needed.
Oh man. Before we get off here, I just want to see what's going on in the world of the NBA. Cavs stay undefeated tonight. That's a story, man.
Yeah.
That is the story. You know, I've been down on the Twin Towers there, Mobley and Allen. I've always been a Mitchell guy, but you know, but as a team, they're still undefeated. They're getting these W's. That's crazy, man. Milwaukee losing to Detroit late in the fourth quarter. What else is new? That's I don't know what they're going to do over there.
Detroit seems to be
A functional
making
team
a
this
little
year.
progress.
They're a functional team
They
this year.
definitely feel they're a little better
Yeah.
than they've been.
Yeah, but not good enough to beat Milwaukee.
Well, everybody's good enough to beat Milwaukee now. Not good enough to beat what we thought Milwaukee might be.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo. That's what I mean there. The Bulls beat the Knicks on by 1 point there. Zach LaVine is having an interesting bounce back season, but we'll have to see if he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
Towns almost with the 50-pointer.
But a loss.
46. Yeah, with a loss.
And, you know, there's a handful of teams, and the Knicks are among them, Minnesota. There's a handful of quality teams that are kind of hovering around 500, maybe a game above, game below, at 500. It's interesting because, you know, some of these teams are going to have to kind of catch fire to meet expectations.
Well, Philly is one of them.
You could Philly and Milwaukee. I mean, I don't think I'm outside the box to say that, you know, most people felt Philly and Milwaukee were playoff teams.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't believe them as contenders.
Right.
But they're both off to such bad starts that you begin to say, wow, you're putting yourself in a position where getting the playoff.
I'm gonna just stop everything you're doing because your guy, man, Wemby,
What do you do?
50 points.
Yes. Take that, Chet, and your faulty hip.